Okay, guys. So, well,
Ooh, he's got a bag?
Yeah. So the audience doesn't know this. You guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, we skipped a week of recording because I went back to Mexico, to my family's part of Mexico for the first time in 15 years.
They own a part of Mexico? Which province?
I mean, kind of. It's
or
like
state?
a small...
Do they call them states in Mexico? I actually don't know.
It is. It's states.
It's state, right?
Yeah.
Canada's provinces.
What
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What state is your family from?
We're from Nayarit, which
One more
is
time?
Nayarit.
Never going to get that right.
It's right next to Puerto Vallarta.
I only know Chihuahua.
I also only know
Really?
Mexico City, but I don't think that's a state. I think
So here's
it's
the
just a
thing.
city.
It's because I'm always like, hey, you want to know a fact about Mexico? Chihuahua has the most murders in it. And then everyone's like, thanks for that.
It also has the lowest age of consent in the world.
Really?
It's puberty.
Okay, well, that's fucked up.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, so first time going in over 15 years. Met a lot of family that wasn't alive the last time that I went back. And I brought y'all gifts.
We got
Gifts! All right,
Ooh,
so
south of the border.
so first is for neither of y'all.
Okay.
It's I did already see it.
Okay, so the first one is for me. So I have some family over. Last time that I went, I mean, it's Mexico. It's all about soccer. But the last time I went was around the time that the New Orleans Saints first went to the Super Bowl. And I remember because I really didn't want the Colts to win the Super Bowl because I hated Peyton Manning.
Obviously.
For no reason. I was young. But yeah, I guess my cousins remembered me rooting for the Saints, so they were convinced I was a fan of the Saints. I am not, but...
My girlfriend Meg is a huge Saints fan.
So, I
will bequeath this onto her. Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I know so little about sports that I now just learned about a new team.
Yeah, New Orleans Saints. That's what Drew Brees played for.
You literally could have made up a person. and I
Keyword
would've been
played.
Yeah, he actually just stopped playing.
Cool.
He just retired. That's the word.
Yeah.
I believe, according to Meg, he's the most accurate quarterback in NFL
Well,
history.
he was. Yeah.
Was.
Like anytime he says a fact, you
No,
go to
it's
look
just
it up and you're like,
If he's
that
going
was
to throw
right.
the ball somewhere, it will be there. Like, he doesn't
What's
miss.
his name?
Drew
Never
Brees.
heard of him before.
Yep.
I know Drew
understandable.
Carey. I think that's the only Drew I know.
Yeah, he also plays for the Saints.
Woo!
Man, I was learning nothing but facts today.
So next one is actually for Jeremy, and he gets a choice because it's
Wow.
happened a couple of times in this podcast where I ask, "Does anyone have a bottle opener?"
And Jeremy is the worst
He pulls
fucking
out
bottle opener.
the worst bottle.
It's shaped like a
opener.
Christmas tree for some reason.
It's so hard to open a bottle with that damn thing. So I'm like, okay, let me get him something that will also benefit me.
I love the fact that you're like, oof, Jeremy needs a better bottle opener so I can use it.
Yeah. So I got this nice, cool pink Dia de los Muertos themed one. It's really nice. Another Dia de los Muertos one. This one is actually shaped like a skull. And this Frida Pinto one. I don't know if you're a fan, but
Who?
really?
Yes, genuinely.
You've never seen that movie where Selma Hayek has a unibrow?
No.
You've never seen Coco?
I've seen
Yeah,
Coco.
that's actually that was.
Remember the artist with the unibrow?
that was Salma Hayek.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I remember. I mean, I know that she is famous for being an artist, and if memory serves, she's famous because she initially didn't have credit for any of the art that she did, and so she was like, "Hey, all the art that this one dude has been selling, I've been painting for like the last 10 years," and everyone
She's
was like,
Yusuke from Persona 5?
I mean, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But I'm gonna take the pink one. Why?
It's pink.
Yeah,
That's what I would have
exact-
chose too.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I'm also wearing a pink shirt right now.
It's true.
Is that
and you know what?
pink?
I got
No,
it.
it's like a
It's like a
salmon.
It's like a
salmon.
pastel. Yeah.
Now, Jeremy is one of the few dudes who can pull off a pink shirt, though. Like, genuinely.
Oh, absolutely.
That's because I own a pink shirt.
That's true.
Like,
You know what?
I 100%.
I feel like there is some crossover there.
Yeah.
All right. So for Tyler. All
I
right.
thought you were going to be like one of the other two bottle openers. You're gonna karaoke me, dude.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about it, and I was actually going to do that.
Which one counters his?
I
What
just-
is yours, fire type? Give me
just
the
got-
water one.
I just got that Gary Oak joke. Like I was on delay for that level of comedy.
First off, you don't get to choose that. You choose the one, and then he's gonna counter it.
Well, no. See, I'm getting
Which
Gary.
that was you're
because
Gary.
he chose first, and so I have to choose the one that counters.
It must be the Frida one, right? Because like that immediately would counter just the general concept of pink.
Well, I mean,
Well, but I would assume pink is closest. That would be like a fire type, probably closer than anything. So I need to get whichever one was the water type and
the other one's pretty blue.
pretty blue.
So
yeah,
our options are
I think for
pink
this
for
grass type,
fire, blue for
water.
water, and then Frida for grass.
But it's
Oh,
pretty green.
It's pretty green. Yeah.
It's like watermelon colors.
all right.
Yo, give me a watermelon Pokemon.
All right. So I'm not gonna do that. That's actually what I was going to do.
It's very fun.
And then he walked by a store in the airport.
I went, ooh,
How
look at a
did you
postcard.
know? That's exactly what happened. Because our last episode, I'm assuming, was the tarot card one, and I remember
Yeah, that's
at
the
the,
last one we
in that one, you didn't know that in Mexico we have different suits for cards.
Well, no, because you use the original tarot deck.
What?
That's what
Yeah.
he just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You,
Okay.
You
yeah.
didn't contradict him. You were
Sorry,
just like,
I
added
agreed
another
with him.
fact.
I
to
agreed
that.
with him contradictory.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
understood.
No. That and also this.
Yeah. So like over there in Mexico, we don't use clubs, hearts,
Yeah,
diamonds,
you
all
use
that.
the tarot deck set.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I did it again, didn't I?
yeah. So here you go, a genuine Mexican set of playing cards.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Why is Julius Caesar on it? I know
I
that's not
haven't-
Julius Caesar.
Is that not true?
I don't know who it is.
Nah,
to
they
be
look
honest.
Julius Caesar was
feminine.
famously Mexican.
Yeah.
That's what they always
Yeah.
tell you in history class.
My favorite city in Mexico is Rome.
Rome, as they may pronounce it.
Yeah, that one time that you went to Rome, you actually went to Mexico. You were like, oh, the plane turned around.
How was Mexico?
When I went to Mexico,
Yeah, in Rome.
whew, let's see.
Were there a lot of Italian
yeah,
people?
they're very Italian. That's how I describe it. Like Jesus Christ, the immigrant crisis for Italians is really taking over.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another beautiful episode of Crack Open a Cryptid.
There was so much delay to that, but what a payoff.
I was about to
It
say
also
that
just completely splashed up on my glasses.
that
so,
crack
please discuss.
sucked, but
But the fizz.
Yeah, it's you literally could have cracked your knuckles in front of the mic, and it would have been a nicer crack.
Oh man, I have some people who listen to the show, and whenever we release an episode that has like a shitty crack on it, they tell me. God, I hate you so much, Jeremy.
What am
I
I
edit
doing?
these, and he knows I edit these, so he makes just audio hell for me every fucking episode.
I just opened up my. Well, you heard. Audience isn't caught off guard by that. For the first thing I thought was that this was a security card. I'm like, man, Mexico's really in the fucking deep end. If they're like, it's 50 cents, we cannot have someone steal it.
I also thought that was a security card as you opened it, by the way.
That's like, if you open a bottle, if you open a bottle with that, ink just sprays everywhere.
I do love that idea.
no,
So-
I just stole it.
Oh,
That's why
cool.
it has that.
Yeah, they famously would take it out of the wrapper, take the security card off, and then put it back in.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very precise how they do it there.
Okay, so before I got here, you basically said that the topic you were going to do this week, you weren't going to tell me what it was.
Yes, this is the first week that nobody except for me knows what the topic
But
is.
you said that we could basically guess it.
Yes, and I will neither confirm, well, I will deny, but I won't confirm if you get it right as we go on because there is a reveal. But if you know much, this is going to be our first two-parter episode. Like, I did so much goddamn research on this that I needed two parts. So normally it's I lead an episode, then Adrian leads an episode, right? And Jeremy just shit talks us both the whole time.
Yeah.
As is his job.
Great
Oh,
deal.
wait, hold on, Adrian, go. Oh,
That's how you do a crack.
your crack was a lot better. Your fizz wasn't as good though.
You didn't have the power of the fizz.
It also
That
didn't
one.
absolutely come all over your glasses like mine did.
It did not.
It did. It was all over my glasses. But yeah, so this is a two-parter. Episode 1 of this two-parter, this one, is going to be all set up really for the next episode.
Shit.
I know. But the story of the setup is very, very interesting.
Here's the thing. I don't mean to interrupt you, but for the listeners listening to this and going, you're telling me we're going to have to wait a week before like anything interesting happens?
No, I'm telling you, you're going to have to wait 2 weeks.
Ah, shit.
Hell yeah. Buckle up.
But no, yeah, this one, it's all set up, but the setup is just as fascinating. I think better than the actual story. But if you know the actual story, you might be able to guess what I'm getting at during this. But keep it to your fucking selves.
The killer clown murders of John Wayne Gacy.
God damn it! No.
I legitimately, I was like, I cracked it.
No, so this is one of the rare episodes where everything I'm about to talk about here is true. This is genuinely all real for the setup. All of it. Which is weird. Because normally
if you mention ghosts at any point, I'm going to call bullshit.
Wait, okay.
Damn it!
So, like, can we, like, I don't know, take a crack at whatever this is? Like, can we play, like, 20 questions or something? See if we could figure it out.
The 20 questions is me going to be going through it.
All right.
Okay.
And if you know a lot about the story that I'm about to tell, then you'll know it just from the
This
name
is
of the person.
Dracula.
Damn it! No, So, but if you know what it is immediately, just keep it to yourself.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about a man named Ronald Joseph DeFeo Jr. Ronald was born in Brooklyn on September 26, 1951, to Ronald Sr. and Louise DeFeo. Ronald Sr. was a very successful car salesman, which apparently in the 50s allowed him to grow up in an upper middle class home, along with his 4 siblings. So this family had 5 kids. The dad was a car salesman, and they were considered upper middle class.
Well, that's... What year was this?
1951,
Yeah,
when he
that
was
sounds
born.
That sounds about right.
What are you smelling, Jeremy?
I'm not sure if this bottle opener is like candy scented or not.
Can I smell it?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Smell that. That's the thing that...
You know, that is kind of candy
Wait,
scented. You're not wrong.
let me...
They're, yeah.
Hmm.
I kind of get it. That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty pleasant.
Whoever's packaging this was also eating some Turkish Delight on the side, you know?
I thought maybe it was the I'm sorry, I just completely derailed it.
No, I was very interested.
Without even being able to do anything. Like that's become my job. It's like how hard do we have to fight Jeremy to just stay on track? All right, DeFeo Jr. He owns a fucking car.
Well, DeFeo Sr. Works, doesn't own doesn't own, but he works at a car dealership,
Yeah,
and he's very successful.
Yeah.
So
is it like a regular dealership, or is he selling like rolls?
You know, I
Is
couldn't
he a
actually
used
find
car
out.
salesman?
I couldn't find out if he was a used car salesman or whatever. I just know that it was his. It was this guy DeFeo Jr. It was his father, or I'm sorry, DeFeo Sr.'s father-in-law who owned the place, and he worked there.
Okay.
So Ronald Jr. grew up in an upper middle class home with his 4 younger siblings named Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthews. I don't know why one of them gets 2 names, but he did. Now, while he provided for his large family, Ronald Sr. was prone to bouts of anger and violence, frequently coming into altercations with his wife and children.
Oh, so he killed them all.
No.
The Hulk. This is the Hulk.
How'd you know? Now, the eldest of the DeFeo children was Ronald Jr., and this poor kid became the target of his father's abuse more than any of the other children. He grew up being known as Butch by his friends. That was the nickname he gave. So to keep going between junior and senior, I'm going to call him Butch from now on. He was slightly overweight. He was a bit socially awkward. And because of this, his father would always shit on him for it. And then his classmates would bully him. And then even his friends would make fun of him. He did not have a very good upbringing. And as he grew up, it was very easily shown that he adopted his father's explosive temper. And he would get in fistfights with anybody who provoked him. To curtail this behavior, his parents decided that they were going to send him to a psychiatrist, but every time they sent him to one, the psychiatrist either said, he's stable and fine, he doesn't need help, or they just would say, like, he's cured, and he wasn't. So constantly, this kid was just being abused and picked on and getting into fights, and nobody would actually help him. So the next attempt from Parents of the Year, Ronald Sr. and Louise DeFeo, was to shower him in gifts. So they gave him a shit ton of money, cars, guns, a $14,000 speedboat.
How old is he at this point?
He was 17 roughly at this age. And they bought him a $14,000 1951 money speedboat.
I think in 1951 it's like $10 to the dollar, so
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
How much is a speedboat now?
I have no idea.
I wouldn't pay over over 14 grand for it.
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't want to buy a boat. Have you ever heard how shitty it is to take care of a boat?
No.
Yeah.
It sucks. It's awful.
I know a guy who lives on a boat.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, though. He gets to live on it.
Yeah, it's just docked in the pier. Or
All
in
right,
the,
that's not as cool.
And he just, I was like, did you say it's sailing? And he was like, nah, sail broke.
Now, with all this money and resources coming into Butch's life, he decided that this was going to be a very good time to dabble with hard drugs. And he got very addicted to heroin and LSD.
I was going to say, what hard drugs could he get in 51?
Heroin and LSD, apparently.
Yeah.
So eventually, his aggression and heavy drug use got him expelled from the school he was going to when he was only 17. So that's Butch's early life, right? But I want to talk about a little more about his father. So his dad was by no means a good person in any way. I just want to get that out of the way. Butch's expulsion after his known drug use led to his father offering him a position at the car dealership. So the guy gets expelled from school, is known to be on heavy drugs, and his dad's like, why don't you come work at the car dealership with me, bud?
Right.
Come on, champ. Because he's an idiot. Butch took the job, though. He did absolutely nothing, and he got paid handsomely for it. Until one day, he went on a hunting trip with a friend where he got in a fight with his friend claims that there was no fight at all. This happened out of nowhere, but Butch just brought his rifle up, pointed at his friend, and said, I'm going to fucking shoot you. And then his friend was like, please don't shoot me. And then he didn't.
Okay, well, that's not too bad.
Nobody got shot. But later that same day...
Is this Dick Cheney?
I was about to say. This sounds like an early Dick Cheney.
Are you telling me that, like, Dick Cheney did a lot of this when he was younger? You're like, and then he changed his name to Dick Cheney.
No. So, same day, he comes home from the hunting trip. He pretends like nothing happened on the whole trip. His friend was like, he almost fucking shot me. And Butch was like, no, I didn't. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, gaslighting his buddy, who, like, ex-friend, right? Gotta be. So, he goes home after the trip, and he walks into the kitchen where his parents are fighting again. So, in response to his parents fighting, Butch grabbed a 12-gauge shotgun, pointed it point blank at his father, and pulled the trigger. And the gun jammed.
Dude.
Well, that's lucky.
His father, dumbfounded, just walked out of the room without saying anything, and nothing came of the event.
Okay, that's up until this point, I was like, oh, like I get that he's not doing a great job, but like, I don't think it's inherently problematic that he like got him a job when he left.
Oh, but he also like physically and verbally abused him his entire life.
That's just 1951 fatherhood. Like he.
Oh no.
That's what you do.
So let's fast forward a little bit, right? Butch is going to be 23 years old now, and he's really bored with his job at the car dealership. And he thinks that his job isn't paying him enough money for doing nothing. So he calls up a buddy and he goes, hey man, you want to rob this place with me? He built up enough trust somehow in the car dealership to where they gave him literally a sack of $20,000 and said, hey, go take this and deposit it into the bank. He leaves, says he got robbed. His friend posed as the robber, and they split the money, and it worked. They just got 20 grand for doing nothing, and everyone believed him.
Wait, they never got caught?
Well, now hold on.
Okay.
So nobody suspected a thing. Nobody thought that this drug-abusing psychopath could have robbed them. But the police, as they do, came to the car dealership and started questioning people, because that's how you hold an investigation. Everyone's answering the questions very calmly, saying, like, I don't really know what happened. But when they went to go talk to Butch, he went fucking apeshit and started screaming at the officers, cursing him out, threatening to fight them. And so they were like, I think he stole the money. Especially his dad at this point was like, my kid definitely stole that money. So they went home, and Ronald Sr. approached Butch to ask, like, buddy, come on, champ, did you actually steal that money? And Butch was like, no, but if I did steal the money and you tell the police that, I will fucking kill you, just like I tried to do in the kitchen.
And his response was like, all right, buddy.
Yes.
See you later.
Yes.
I believe it.
That's 1950s fatherhood right there. That's just how you do
So
it.
technically, Butch never got caught, but we know this happened. It's just that he never got arrested for it because the 50s are fucking awful, apparently.
I mean, I imagine he also just didn't tell anyone. Like,
Well,
I feel like if the
yeah.
police like knew about that, they'd be like, oh yeah, well, it's 1951. We just go and beat Mexicans for fun. Like they're not going to.
Basically.
It's kind of just what they do now.
Basically.
Yeah, but they're not wearing trilbies anymore.
Oh, but they should be.
Yeah.
That is like the most neckbeard sentence that I've ever.
You're like, I don't want them wearing fedoras. I want them wearing trilbies so they look dumber.
You're like, oh, it's like that meme of the guy who's like,
Now let's fast forward to later that same year. It is now 1974.
there's gonna be aliens in this. We're getting into the 60s.
It's actually not aliens.
We're gonna get into the. I said 60s after you said 70s. Really dumb about that.
But you are correct that that's when alien stuff started going crazy.
Yeah.
But this is not an aliens one. So, 1974. It's later the same year he robbed the car dealership. And Ronald Butch DeFeo Jr. bursts into a local dive named Henry's Bar. And he shouts to the patrons, "You gotta help me! I think my mother and father are shot!" Following this declaration, Butch and a small group of men rushed back to his home at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, Long
I
Island.
fucking recognized that immediately. I was like, wait a minute. This is the fucking Amityville. Like, I'm so pissed off right now because I had that in my head. I was going to be like, oh, shit. I've heard the fucking Henry's Bar. I've heard it. I'm like, this is probably fucking Amityville. And then you were like, yeah, it's fucking Amityville. Oh, yeah, cool. Now I just look like a fucking moron who didn't know about this.
I'm gonna be honest. I figured it out like around the middle of that story. The only reason I know that was because one of my favorite terrible movies,
The Amityville Horror.
The Amityville Horror, with Ryan Reynolds as
Oh my
the
God,
father.
Ryan Reynolds was in that.
Yeah, yeah.
I have seen that movie, but I don't remember it being terrible. What's the weird terribleness of it?
I don't.
You're like Ryan Reynolds isn't being
very,
too
very
handsome.
hokey acting, man. It's really bad. That being said, I love that movie. It's not that it's so bad it's good. Well, there's a very specific reason why I love that movie that I'm not going to get into here.
Well, we could get into it in the next episode because we're going to talk about the actual horror that happened there. But
Okay, I actually do know quite a lot about it, despite the fact that everyone's names you mentioned before had no fucking clue that's what anyone was
well,
called.
because this is the whole event of why the
No.
Lutzes thought it was haunted because of
I-
what's about to happen here.
Oh, is that the case?
Yes. So
Okay, so hold on.
okay,
The main event that triggers like all the books and stuff
is this?
is this.
But it's not the actual.
It's not. This is the Amityville horror versus the Amityville haunting, essentially.
Okay, but this is like the court case that surrounded the.
Yes.
Okay, that I did know. Okay.
Okay. So, Butch and a small group of men rushed back to his home at 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville, Long Island. It was quickly discovered that, yes, both parents had been shot in their own bed, face down. One of his friends, whose name is Joe Yeswit, his name is Yeswit,
Yes, Wit.
Yeswit, decided that this would be a prudent time to call the police while the others searched the rest of the home.
Mm-hmm.
4 more bodies were found, which were those of Butch's 4 younger siblings. Evidence of the crime scene shows that they were all shot with a .35 caliber lever action Marlin 336C rifle.
This honestly really fucking pisses me off because I didn't actually know about like the stuff in his early life, and now I'm like, oh,
It makes a lot of sense, doesn't
yeah.
Literally, all of this could have been avoided if we just arrested the dude for stealing the money.
Anytime we're going to talk about any serial killer or mass murderer on this show, you will be like, oh man, this all could have been avoided if anyone good was in his life. Like a single good person.
Yeah.
It's all awful. Normally it's the mom who sucks, though.
Tell that to John Wayne Gacy.
I said normally.
Yeah.
So Butch was taken by the police back to the station, not as an arrest, though. They thought that potentially someone was trying to kill the whole family, so they brought him back to the station to protect him, specifically because the first suspect wasn't Butch, but a local mob hitman known as Louis Fellini. While the police investigated Fellini's involvement, other officers at the station decided to question Butch, as police do when there's a crime.
Can I have this Diet Pepsi that I'm interrupting you to
absolutely.
ask for?
Yeah.
It is facing me, and
No,
also
I always bring like extra beverages just for anybody to take.
For a second, I thought he was gonna try to open that with the bottle opener that I just gave him.
Do it.
I don't think it's possible.
I'm sorry, what was that?
imagine saying that.
While he's absolutely destroying this thing.
I'm gonna just fucking shotgun this before.
I don't love if the pull tab pops off and you go, I will not be drinking this Diet Pepsi.
What a fucking stupid thing to ask me to do right before I do it. And
I
then
didn't ask you to do anything.
you were basically taunting me into doing it. You were like, hey, why don't you ruin your own life? And I was just like, all right.
I just saw him pull the can and then pull the bottle opener close to it.
It's because he fidgets with things.
You know
like
what?
I
This
do.
is that classic cheap Mexican bottle opener.
We have the best bottle openers in the world, man.
Famously don't open Coke cans. That's the big
It's not
thing
a
about
Coke can!
Well, it basically says Coke on it. It just changed the words.
Diet Pepsi!
You know what?
Just use your fingers.
Just open the fucking thing and...
Oh, yeah, it's a defective can. That's the issue. Anyways, what the fuck out? They brought in the fucking Jimmy Two Shoes, the assassin, and they were like, like, hey, I didn't do nothing.
So, Luis Fellini, the guy who was the mob hitman, they very quickly found out that he had an alibi that was airtight that placed him out of state. So it actually wasn't Fellini.
Was he like out of state murdering someone else?
That was my guess as well.
I'm glad you said that because mine was even stupider. I was gonna be like, was he at like a hitman convention? And they were just like, there he is. He's clearly in the crowd.
Yeah, HitCon. You've been there. We've all been there.
We've been to HitCon. I went there thinking it was something else.
Yeah, I went there thinking it was going to be the IOI Interactive video game Hitman. Turns out it wasn't.
They're not a huge fan of you walking around with a suit and the barcode on the back of your head.
No,
They're like,
they
you making
like it.
fun of me?
I shaved my head too, and it's like, I did this for nothing? No.
I could see Tyler with a shaved head.
Yeah, but you
Well,
went
I'm white.
Yeah, you went
yeah,
just
that's-
next door, and there were tons of people with shaved heads, and they were just like, "Oh, hello, man."
And then I looked up and I saw a swastika flag, and I was like, I'm gonna leave.
Well, you looked up because everyone was just pointing at a 45-degree angle for some reason. What are we looking at?
Oh, God. So Fellini out of state, probably killing a man, or at HitCon, you never know. Probably both, frankly.
Yeah.
But while Butch was at the station, other officers were questioning him, and all of them were getting different testimonies. There were so many cracks and inconsistencies.
Wait, he
in
was
his story.
giving other officers different testimonies?
Yes, basically, when an officer would come and be like, "Hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? Like, what happened?" He would give one story, and then another officer would be like, "Hey, man, really brutal. Like, do you know like who could have done this?" And he'd give like a completely different testimony.
Yeah, this pisses me off.
Doesn't it?
It really But you know, here's the thing. I'm sorry, viewers, that I'm just cursed with knowledge. But but I know where this is
Not
going
enough
up
knowledge
to.
to open a Pepsi
and-
can.
Okay, here's the thing. I was opening it up for cool points.
Well, you didn't earn any.
That is true, and that's because it's more difficult. It's like doing like a finger skateboard thing trick.
Also,
you
in
know?
the future, are you more of a Pepsi or a Dr. Pepper man?
I'd probably lean towards Dr. Pepper.
Okay, I'll bring Dr. Peppers instead.
Out of curiosity, do you drink diet sodas just like normally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Diet Pepsi and Diet Dr. Pepper taste so incredibly similar to the actual product that, like, I'm cool with it.
I would argue they taste a little better.
I would argue that that Diet Pepsi does taste better than regular Pepsi. Because the reason I prefer Pepsi over Coke, and everyone's like, you're crazy. I think Coke is way sweeter than Pepsi, and I don't like that.
You should try Mexican Coke.
Yes, I like Mexican Coke, though, but that's just because it is pure sugar rush.
I remember hearing this a while ago, and I think I might have even brought this up before, but Mexican Coke that we have in the U.S. is still not the Coke you would get in Mexico.
That's correct.
They're just like, yeah, it has sugar in it. It's like in Mexico.
All they do is put it in a glass bottle and call it Mexican Coke. It is not the same.
And Mexican Coke uses actual sugar, right?
Yes.
That's like the difference.
Yes.
In Europe, I mean, you can go anywhere, and Coke's
Well, if
flavor
you go
changes.
anywhere, then you might not end up in Europe. Europe is a very specific.
No,
somewhere.
if you go anywhere, you end up in Europe. It's fucking amazing.
All
You're
roads
like,
lead to Rome.
Yeah.
Huh?
But Coke will change its flavor depending
But that's in
on
Mexico.
the. You're really out of place when you're in Rome, Mexico. Romame or whatever I called it.
Romame, not edamame. Romame.
It's the ultimate flavor. Coke changes its flavor depending on like what country you're in to like satisfy
Well,
the.
pretty much all like fast food. Like if you try Carl's
Yeah.
Jr., which I did by the way.
I've heard Burger King absolutely fucking slaps. in
Burger
the
King
UK.
is like an Olive Garden over there in Mexico. By the way,
hate Burger King in America. That is
Burger
like my
King in
least
America
favorite
sucks.
fast food place.
no, but try it in Mexico because
Yeah.
they use the ingredients based on whatever region they're selling the products in.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so in Mexico, it's all agricultural. Like they have their own like farms and shit. Whereas over here, they raise all their cattle in factories. But anyways,
I'd argue that I'd argue that probably the level of which they are outsourcing their cattle is probably not still to a level where you're like, it's fucking amazing. You're like, you're not getting grass-fed cattle for your burgers. But yeah, you are right. And the reason why I brought that up was when I was in, I've been around, in
This
Europe.
guy has been around town.
So I've tried Coke from many different countries. Those countries being basically Europe, Greece, the Netherlands, and Germany.
My favorite country.
Europe, yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
Start over.
I can't start over because in my head I said the correct word, but now my body has been defeated.
Well, Tyler can't say shit right now because while I was in Mexico, he texted me like, "Oh hey, are you still in Mexico or are you back in America?" Which I didn't reply this.
United States of America. You know what I mean.
Anyways,
So
What are we
anyway,
talking about? Yeah.
by the way, it's a fact. Europe is a country within Europe.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
everyone knows that.
Yeah. Don't.
It's my favorite country.
Yeah.
You ever been to Europe? Like, I have.
When you unlock all the EU countries, it's like the secret level.
Yeah, that's the completionist bonus for unlocking all the
Europe.
Oh my god. So
Just north of France.
Luis Fellini, mob hitman, not
Mm-hmm.
him. He's out of state. Butch is giving different descriptions of the events to all the officers, and all the officers are going like, "Wait, what did he tell you?
Yeah.
That doesn't check out." And so obviously people are starting to go, "I don't know about this." Butch stays overnight at the police station, and literally the very next morning he goes, "Yeah, I killed him." Just admits to it.
Yeah.
Nobody even asked, really. He just admitted to it.
It's like, all right, guys, you cracked me. I don't just.
Well, he claimed to the detectives, quote, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast," unquote.
He killed them all in their sleep, right?
We're going to get to that because the events of the murder are actually very strange. So, within his confession, Butch told the authorities that he had committed the murders the night before, took a bath, hid his bloodied clothes, and got rid of the spent shells. He went to work, then decided to go to the bar. Mm-hmm. So they've been dead in the house for like a full day, basically.
Was his like.
He went to work. Can you imagine murdering someone and being like, "Well, off to work"? Like,
Yeah, like I can. You gotta make
don't-
money. Okay. What am I gonna do? Be poor? Was he arguing that like it had just happened? Was it when he came to that bar? Was he like literally?
yes.
Or was he like, I just saw it happen, or I just walked in and all of these people
He was
were...
saying like I walked in and he thinks his parents were shot and then he ran to the bar.
Okay.
Because it was very close by.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to the trial of Ronald DeFeo Jr. and the conspiracy around it. So DeFeo Jr.'s trial did not begin until nearly 1 full year after the incident on October 14th, 1975. His lawyer, a man named William Weber, came right out the gate with an affirmative defense of insanity. Mm-hmm. DeFeo claimed that he could hear his family plotting to kill him, and thus this was all in self-defense. The prosecution attempted to claim DeFeo was fully aware of his actions despite his known drug addiction and his newly diagnosed antisocial personality disorder. Mm-hmm. This trial went on for just over a month and resulted in a sentence of 25 years to life. He was convicted of the murders. DeFeo attempted many times to appeal his sentence or at the very least request parole. Every single one was denied, but his sentence ended on March 12th, 2021, when Ronald Joseph DeFeo Jr. died in prison.
Really?
Earlier
wow.
this year.
Okay, so happy ending.
How old was he? Is he constantly like?
What's 2021 minus 1951?
Well, that's a pretty
that's
easy one. That's
70.
60. Is that 70?
50 plus 20.
I can't fucking figure out that Europe's not in Europe. Like, don't fucking throw math at me now.
Hang on. When
You're fucking lucky I didn't say 50.
What's
Ronald
up?
DeFeo, you.
Yeah.
Was he constantly like seeing movies where they're like, oh, it's just like that guy, and he's like, that's me?
I mean, probably. He gave a lot of interviews in prison to like the people who made those movies and wrote those books.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
Which we're gonna get into.
I know some of the people that wrote the books.
What's up, Adrian?
He was actually 69 years
Let's
old.
go, dude.
Yeah, he was born in September
Fucking-
and died in March.
Absolutely pogged out of my gourd right now. Anyway,
Did you
let's
fucking look that up specifically to make sure? You're like, there's a potential here.
Adrian refuses to miss a chance at pointing out 69. It's very important.
Dude, it's incredible. That's the age I want to die. If I could die
You know what,
April
buddy?
20th.
You know what, buddy? On April 20th, on your when you're 69 years old, I'll come murder you myself.
Now that's poggers.
Yeah.
Oh, who's my little pog champ? Oh my god. Anyway, so the conspiracy is revolving around this scenario. It was very clear DeFeo killed him. He admitted to it. He got thrown in prison. He died in prison. But there's a lot of little facts about the case that are still just like, wait, how the fuck did that happen? Now, we need to discuss again his rifle. The rifle specifically that he used.
It's a lever action.
A 35 caliber Marlin 336C lever action rifle. And this rifle in particular does not have any suppressor or silencer attachments available.
Okay, I'm glad that you're bringing this up because I was going to bring that up because
Yes.
I often think about this. How did he kill like 6 people and then not wake up?
Exactly. It's very weird because despite there being no suppressor or silencer, none of them seemed to have woken up. There were no signs of struggles and none of the neighbors heard any gunshots. All they heard was the family dog barking. The dog survived, by the way. I feel like that's important.
Is the dog alive?
Today? No.
No.
I don't need to look it up. I promise you it's not.
If the dog was alive, I'd be like, oh shit.
That dog killed them.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me Google it.
It's dead, dude. It's been 70
I'd also be
years.
more impressed if there's a Google entry that's like, yeah, just in case. Yeah, it's dead.
So, yeah, the rifle had no attachments that could suppress the noise at all. Nobody heard anything. And all 6 victims were found face down in their own beds with no sign of any struggle.
So here's the thing. So it says 35 caliber because like there's a big thing with 22 caliber where they are relatively silent.
Yeah, 22 rimfires, yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty quiet. But a 35, that rifle in particular is large.
Yeah.
And it makes fucking noise.
I'm still a little like one of the things like once we figure out whether we're gonna swap to millimeters or swap to the metric or stay doing the wrong system is how gun ammo is like arbitrarily measured. Like you're like what do these measurements mean? What are you measuring?
Well, it's the millimeter of like the size of the bullet.
Yeah, but then you get into like gauge and stuff like that, and it's
well, because it's a different type of ammunition.
right. Yeah. Well, really, so even
Gauge is, I believe, typically for shotguns, whereas millimeter is for rifles.
yeah, but can't you get bullets that
pistols.
are measured in like when someone says like a 44 Magnum, or is that the millimeter of the?
Yes.
Oh,
Also, I am not a gun expert. I just all my knowledge is from video games. I believe that is correct.
is that true?
Yeah,
I thought.
Wait, I thought that you.
I've gone shooting and stuff. But I don't really know a lot about them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
I'm over here thinking you're like the gun expert
I was
calling
saying,
you up.
Like every time that we play a video game, he's like, "Oh yeah, this gun." All right, if you've played Apex Legends, Tyler's kind of like Bangalore, where it's like, "Oh yeah, this weaponry, it's kind of used for this, and that."
Yeah. Level 3 door here separates the inside from the outside. That's my favorite Bangalore meme, dude. Anyway, all 6 victims died face down in their own beds. No sign of struggle. Nobody heard any gunshots. Nobody woke up. DeFeo, when pressed on this, claimed that he drugged them all. And so that's why they were all just like asleep.
Oh, okay.
But the toxicology report proves otherwise, showing 0 substances in both the blood and the urine of all victims.
It's 1951. How are they doing that?
We've had toxicology for a while.
Yeah, I know, but like I imagine it's like you pour their blood into a fucking vial, and if it turns blue, then like it has this.
I
in
don't
it.
know anything about toxicology. To be honest with you.
The reason why I say that is, and I understand that there is an issue of like people think that technology has like modernized a lot of this stuff when that's not entirely true.
Yeah, which is a good point to make.
But interesting, because I know for a fact that toxicology usually only look for like a particular set of things, and so you have to specifically ask like, make sure this isn't in it, because if it's not like the normal laundry list of things that they would run into, they wouldn't check for it to be there.
I mean, I assume they would check for LSD and heroin just because he had so much of it. As
Yeah, you're not
one
drugging
thing.
someone with LSD or heroin.
Yeah, but like, it'd be pretty cool if he did.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, so he said that he drugged them.
Yes, but
With-
every report says no, you did.
Did
not.
he say what he drugged
Yeah.
them with?
I couldn't find that, but because DeFeo's
Fucking
testimony,
call him up.
I can't. He died earlier
so-
this year.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. He did so many goddamn interviews. If one person didn't say like, "Hey, what'd you drug him with? How'd you do it?" I'm gonna be so fucking angry.
I actually want to get into a bunch of the interviews because some of his testimonies are insane, but they didn't ask that from what I found. But let's go to 1968. This was an interview with the channel Newsday, and according to him himself, DeFeo at the time was married to a woman named Geraldine Gates and was living with her in New Jersey when his mother frantically called him to come home to break apart a fight between his younger sister Dawn and their father. DeFeo claimed that his younger sister Dawn, who was 18 at the time, killed their father herself, and after witnessing this, their mother went on to kill all the children out of like shock, starting with Dawn, and she used a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson revolver, but then seeing that, DeFeo killed his mother.
And she did it when everyone was like, "Go lay down."
Now, DeFeo took the fall because he didn't want to talk ill of his now dead family, and he also claimed that Geraldine's brother, Richard Ramondo, was with him and could confirm the story, but nobody was able to get a hold of Richard to confirm it.
It wasn't like they couldn't call him up.
No, they couldn't contact him. They couldn't figure out a way to contact him.
Like they didn't go to this last known location. I mean, they didn't know where he lived.
Basically.
Is this like in like? Is this part of the interviews that he gave when he was
Yes.
in, so like this would
This
have
was
been
an
a few
interview
years
with
later?
Newsday in 1968.
Okay, so this was a bit later.
So let's move on to 1990. He put forward a 440 motion to have his conviction vacated, right? To support the motion, DeFeo gave a new testimony of events. This is 1990.
I've never heard the term vacated before. Do you know what that means?
Basically, he was trying to say like, oh, like I'm actually innocent, and you should let me out of prison because I'm actually innocent, and this proves it. And
okay.
So to support the motion, DeFeo gave a new testimony of events. Now he claimed that Dawn had entered the house with a man that DeFeo himself did not know. The man killed their parents while Dawn went and killed the siblings. DeFeo attempted to wrestle the rifle out of Dawn's hands when he accidentally pulled the trigger, killing her. An affidavit was sent to the police by Richard Ramondo, claiming that he could back up this claim, but he was currently unavailable to testify in person. Very important. Following this motion, authorities discovered that Richard did not exist. Not a real person. Not a real person. But Geraldine, his supposed wife, did exist. The problem is, Geraldine was DeFeo's wife, but she was living in upstate New York and married to a different man at the time of the murders. They eventually got divorced, and Geraldine testified later in 1992 that she was not married to DeFeo at the time of the murders, but she did marry him in 1989 in order to support his 440 motion.
Okay.
What an insane woman, right? They got a divorce 1 year later
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
in 1993.
that's okay.
Now, the final interview that DeFeo ever gave was to Rick Osuna, who was writing a book about the events of the murders. In the final testimony, DeFeo claimed that, well, he returned to his initial testimony, essentially, that he heard his family was planning to kill him, and then he was going to kill them in self-defense. Except he now said it was only his parents who were plotting the murder instead of the whole family. DeFeo then went on to conscript Dawn and two of their friends, someone named Augie DeGenero and Bobby Kelsky, and all four of them were going to kill his parents, quote, out of desperation. On the night of the murders, they all entered the home, and DeFeo got in a fight with his father and then finished the job. Meanwhile, Dawn decided on her own to go and kill all the younger siblings in order to eliminate any witnesses. This enraged DeFeo, and so he knocked her unconscious and shot her as well. And that was the final testimony he gave until eventually he died in prison.
Why did he? Oh, that was. Never mind. I thought they were interviewing a different person there.
No, just Butch again.
Yeah.
And that was the final one he gave. Now, enter the Lutz family. Next episode, baby. Woo!
I think that's the one that Ryan Reynolds is a part of.
Was he one of the Lutzes? Was he George
I think
Lutz?
so.
I've been watching a lot of. you know when you're watching a game show.
Yeah, I've done it before.
You have? Okay. You're watching a game show and someone cheats and they're like, I'm going to do this on camera. And somehow they're just not going to know. Like, and then later on, they're like, hey, by the way, we're recording this, for TV. Remember the reason you're here. We can clearly see you cheating here. And they're like, oh, yeah. What you going to do? It's like that. It's like, were you expecting no one to check whether or not you were not married to him at the time?
There's a god-awful game show on Netflix, because I love trash TV, called Love is Blind.
Okay.
Or not Love is Blind, I'm sorry, Too Hot to Handle. Love is Blind is also awful.
I know what Too Hot to Handle is.
Yeah, the show Too Hot to Handle.
I've often thought if I was on that show, I'd be all right.
I'd be totally fine, right? Basically, they get like some really attractive, very horny people, and they say, every time you kiss a little bit or do anything more, you lose money from the pool. And by the end of the show, you get to split the money that's left. And they do this thing where they're like, I really want to fuck this girl, but I don't want to lose money, so we're going to go over here and fuck, and nobody will know. And it's like, you said that in the talking head, dipshit! Like,
here's the thing. It's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, I know reality TV isn't real, but stop pretending like this is, like obviously this isn't real, because this show has no premise if this is real. It'd just be a bunch of people being like, yeah, all right, now, nobody fuck. We're all getting money, right?
One dating game show that I think is actually pretty good. It's stupid, but I actually do really enjoy it. Is MTV's Are You the One? Essentially, what they do is they get 10 men, 10 women, and they put them through like a bunch of aptitude and personality tests and stuff, and then they choose their perfect match. So each man and each woman has a perfect match in the opposite group, and so the whole point is they have to all find their perfect match by the end of the show to win the money. And it is genuinely really enjoyable, because the way they do it is at the end of each week they go through this like ceremony where they choose who they want to like sit with, who they think is their perfect match, and these 10 beams of light will be off and they'll turn on for each correct guess, but you don't know which one's correct.
What do you mean?
So like if me and Adrian sat together, obviously a beam would go up because we're a perfect match. But if I sat with you, a beam wouldn't go up because we're not a perfect match.
Sure.
Because we're too similar.
Yeah, we're two alphas.
We're two alphas can't get together.
I don't know if I'd call you guys alphas.
Neither would we, frankly.
Yeah, we're called mega Chad alphas. That's the
next level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so person A could sit with person B, C, D, and E, and beams can go up each week, but that means only one of them was correct or a different match was correct.
Okay, I see. So the beams are just how many people were paired up correctly.
Yes, but you don't know which ones were paired up correctly, just that some were.
I'd just be like, hey, I've already kind of done a lot of work this episode or this week. Is it cool if I just sit here and like never choose anyone else? Like, I see the light up. Maybe it's fine.
Well, occasionally someone will try to like play the game, because there is a clear game there. But the reason why the show is stupid is they'll be like, okay, so Jeremy, if you sit with this girl this week, then like we'll get like a lot of information, and like people will be like, well, I don't think that's his perfect match, and it's like, yeah, neither do I, but if we do it, we get information because of the beams going up. And the girl will be like, but I love Adrian, I'm gonna sit with him. And it's like, but we confirmed you're not a perfect match, because if you like win a challenge, essentially, you go off on like some event just to have fun, but the rest of the group gets to vote on who they want to send into like the truth booth, where this is
really quickly turning into like Trouble in Terrorist Town.
Yes, it is though. It's dating Trouble in Terrorist Town. It really is.
You know a surprising amount of like dating shows.
Because I love them, because they're all awful. But this one is genuinely, there's like an actual game to it. But yeah, the truth booth will confirm whether or not you're a perfect match. But only one couple can go in a week.
I mean, I'm already sold.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Very fun.
I'm just watching this entire show, and I could never fucking be on the show. You know why? Because I'd be sitting there the entire time, be like, bitch, I don't give a shit what you think right now. Get in the fucking booth with that dude. I don't.
No, and there's people who try to do that, and everyone else is like, you seem like you're just here for money and not for love. And it's like, yes, of course I am.
How much money do these people get?
Okay, so It was originally, I think it was originally like a straight up milli that you get to split between the 20 people.
Classic Millie.
But what they started doing, because the first group essentially gamed the system, or like, all right, figured it out, week 7 out of 11, like we did it, and they were like, all right, we need to give people incentive to not like fuck it up. So if you get 0 lights going up, 10% of the prize pool is reduced per week. So if 0 lights go up, you lose 10% of the prize pool, which I think was a very clever way to do that.
Well, is that like a compounding 10%? Because like, wouldn't you get diminishing returns from that?
Yes, you are. Yes, it is. It is compounding. Yeah, so I think that's the right term.
Yeah.
Basically, you would lose like $100,000 every time you fucked up.
Yeah, but theoretically, like maybe my math is wrong. I literally couldn't figure out like 50 plus 70 or something like that earlier. Which, here's the thing. I'm never going to get that old. So I don't need to know numbers that big, you know?
Fair. Your bank account will never get that high. You'll never get that old. Like...
Yeah. Once I'm at $60, I'm like, stop
Spending
it there.
spree.
Yeah. But if you're constantly cutting into it, like, theoretically you can't get lower than half.
So I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really know what compounding means.
Honestly, I don't really know what compounding is. Like
basically, you lose 100,000 every time.
Okay, so it's always 100,000.
Yes,
okay.
I said it stupid initially.
Okay. Compounding would be if it was 10% from the current.
Then it's the other one.
Yeah. So like, because in that
it's
case,
10% from the original.
You'd
total.
be like, 900,000.
You could have just said they would lose 100,000 each week.
I know, but I just admitted I said it's stupid, Adrian.
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been like since we started the love game shows. Yeah, I kind of checked out.
This kind of thing feels like something that if I was on that show, I'd be like, I'm very frustrated right now.
Yes, it's very frustrating to watch too, because like there'll be one guy who is you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can anyone please listen to Jeremy?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
And they're gonna be like, okay, why? Like the audience go, why do they hire so many models? And then there's like a Jeremy bod going on here. and to those questions to this fake audience, that is a very good one. Like I don't know why I'm there either in this scenario.
When Meg and I would watch it, my girlfriend Meg and I, when we would watch it, I would always say like, it would be a really good season. Same thing, 10 men, 10 women, except they're all bisexual. That would fuck shit up, man.
Oh, because then they could be like,
it could be anyone.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, the latest season did do that, and I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, oh fuck, they're screwed, man.
Yeah,
that's way harder.
I hope they increased the prize pool,
or like maybe took away the
penalty.
Yeah, or at least lowered the penalty.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't watched that season yet, but I was like, oh, they did it.
Maybe I just don't understand bisexual people enough, but I'm also under the impression that just because you're bisexual also doesn't mean that you're inherently like really into every single theoretically you could be like, well,
I'm bisexual, but I'm like 90% for women.
Yeah, you could be like, well, I'm into some guys, but like I don't really have that connection here, so more than likely the aptitude test wouldn't have paired me up with any guy. And
probably. They've never released what the aptitude test is, but I really want to like see it. It's probably bullshit.
You like fucking women with big titties or small titties, and then it's like, all right,
that'll be a big titties for me, sir.
All right, we're gonna put a check next to Jessica for you.
What's the name of the show?
Are You the One? It's from MTV.
And they're like, are you sure this is like scientific? They're like, yeah, okay. Now we're gonna get to the ass questions.
Medium for me, sir.
Okay, so I didn't get the aptitude test, but I did find an application to join the show.
Oh my God, sign me up.
I feel like there's one person in your life that would be a little upset.
No,
with
I feel like if I got on Meg to be like, hell yeah, brother, hit it.
She's just sitting there being like, for fuck's sake, Tyler, it's obviously not her.
I can totally see her doing that too. Oh man, let's get Jeremy on the show, like for real.
It wouldn't fucking work.
I would watch every minute.
They'd be like, okay, so we're doing prize rounds this time, and I would like to apologize from last time where I yelled at everyone, and to Casey in the back, I did not mean to call you a cunt that loudly.
I'm going to say that under my breath so only the people directly around me could hear. You weren't meant to hear that.
I am told by the producers that I curse more than they were expecting and that I should turn it down.
They've been spending a lot of money on bleep noises, and it is getting old.
So yeah, anyways, let's do this test where, I don't know, maybe we do a slip and slide with whipped cream. Let's, haven't seen the show, only guessing at that point.
I mean, you know.